I'm not gonna lie to you, before I became a millionaire, my mind was fucked. I had no motivation. I was hopeless about my future. It seemed like everywhere I turned, something was working against me. Like life was an uphill battle. It was like swimming upstream no matter how hard I worked. But somehow I came out of that and literally blew up almost overnight and made millions of dollars selling information products, seminars, masterminds online. Look, set aside the tactics, the strategies, all that stuff. It really started up here with just unfucking my mind. And so in one of my programs, I really delved into how I did this. And it's a program called Sold Out Courses. And I'm about to show you a lesson out of that program called Preparing Your Mind. And even though this lesson is specifically directed towards people who want to create online courses and sell coaching, it can be applied to any business, or for that matter, anyone in life. So I just thought I would share it with you on my channel, and I hope that it provides you value, and I hope that it helps you, whether that's build a business or just get over a hard time. Anyway, enjoy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the mindset module for Sold Out Courses. The name of this module is Preparing Your Mindset, and this is very, very critical before you start the program. I really want to set the expectations. I want you to understand some very core things about mindset as it relates directly to online courses. And I also want to show you how to be massively productive so that you can actually execute on all this stuff. All right. So in this module, what we're going to cover is the first thing we're going to cover is we're going to uncover the lies of digital marketing. The bottom line is you've been told a lot of lies by a bunch of marketers and just people trying to sell their goods. And there's a ton of lies that are a lot of people misunderstand about digital marketing. And I really want to go over those and just kind of like remove the BS so that you really understand what's going on and you don't have these false expectations based on this hypey stuff that most marketers spew. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is the secret of refinement. It's probably the biggest secret that I could tell anyone about having a successful business in digital products, in information products. And then we're going to talk about how to deal with criticism and people hating you. Because I know for a lot of people, people have imposter syndrome. They don't like criticism. They don't want people to think that they're phonies or fakes. We're going to talk all about that. And then finally, and this is the biggest portion of this module, is how to be massively productive. I'm going to give you all my hacks and tricks that I learned about how to be productive. And I actually invested quite a bit of money into understanding this stuff. I paid, $30,000 to be in masterminds that helped with productivity. And I'm just going to give you a big, huge list of everything that you can do that will be not only make you productive, but make you productive specifically for selling online courses. So first, let's talk about uncovering the lies of digital marketing. Now, I want to start with this quote. It's a quote from the movie The Martian, and it's Matt Damon's character. And this is at the end of the movie after he had been stranded on Mars and then he had been rescued and he had survived there for however long. It was like, I don't know if it was a year or however long it was. And he's back and it's years later and he's teaching at this NASA seminar or college. He's teaching like new astronauts, and he began his speech like this. He says, "At some point, everything's going to go south on you. Everything's going to go south, and you're going to say, this is it. This is how I end. You can either accept that, or you can get to work. That's all it is. You just begin. You do the math, you solve one problem, and you solve the next one, and the next one. And if you solve enough problems, you get to come home. That's it." Now, how does that relate to selling online courses? Well, this business starts with a host of problems, just like any business. You solve enough problems, you get to be a millionaire, period. The moment you stop solving problems, you start failing. A lot of people will buy courses, they'll buy programs, they'll even buy coaching. They'll run into a problem, and then they will say, "Oh, well, I have this problem. I can't solve it. I'm going to quit." They'll ask for a refund or they'll just quit or whatever. And this spits in the face of the entire concept of owning a business and growing something great. Like if you just stop when you have a problem or you you complain and just get all down on yourself or down on the person that you are being coached from or whatever. That's literally like saying, I am going to start this business, but I'm already know I'm going to fail and I'm just going to fail. Like, it's just literally the exact opposite of the mindset you need. Because you will run into problems. They will be difficult. New problems will arise. Facebook will change something. This will happen. That'll happen. But we're not trying to make $500 extra a week by selling stuff on eBay here. We're trying to completely rid ourselves of any sort of 9-to-5 job and grow a 6 or even 7-figure business that runs automatically, where we can impact thousands of lives and change in our own way, in our own small way, change the world. You think that's easy? No, it's not easy. You're going to have problems. You just need to accept that you have to keep solving them. And that is why I'm here to help you with these problems. But you will have them and you will get frustrated. You just must understand that it's all about solving problem after problem after problem. If you solve enough, you'll have a successful business, period. You also need to accept that you will not get it right the first time. No one ever has. You must accept this as part of the process, and you'll get much farther, much faster. Frustration is a byproduct of learning. It really is. Just as being sore is a part of working out. If you stop working out because you are sore, you'll never get fit. Imagine if you went to the gym and you're like, I want to get jacked. But then you get sore. So you're like, oh, I'm sore. I'm not going to work out anymore. You'll never get jacked. And you'll just be out of shape, couch potato for the rest of your life. So instead of trying to figure out a way to avoid something, just accept it and get to work. Also, something a little bit more in the weeds. Live webinars can and will be a disaster. Doing them live is only to validate your idea and get a quick injection of cash. The ultimate goal is to become automated and let it run 24/7, generating you money and not dealing with the stress of a live performance. So when you do a live webinar and you throw your hands up in the air because the webinar software crashed or you sent out the wrong link to people, guess what? You know how many times I've done that? You know how many times I've sent out the wrong link to a list of a lot of people where I've had the webinar cut out? We have to restart it. Oh, get back on the webinar. You know how many times that's happened to me? A lot. I still have generated millions and millions and millions of dollars in online courses, and I'll be at 8 figures soon. Okay? It's going to happen to you because live webinars are a complete just disaster. Just like any live performance can be a disaster. I like to do it live only if I need an injection of cash or if I need to validate an idea. Then that sucker goes on automated and I don't worry about it. Okay? So again, accept that will not go perfectly. Just accept it. So a couple more things. Here's some other lies about digital marketing. Nothing is an easy, simple system. There's nothing that's an easy, simple system. Everything has problems. Everything's going to need dedication and time to refine. No script or template will make you a millionaire. They are simply a starting point. Will I give you scripts in this course? Will I give you email templates? Will I give you everything you need? Yes, I will. But it's not going to just deposit money in your bank account. You still need to use them and execute on them well, okay? Also, it isn't as simple as 1, 2, 3. It's not, okay? My job is to make things as simple as possible for you, but you're trying to make millions of dollars and impact the world. That's not simple, okay? That's why you have this program. All softwares, and this is a big one, all softwares have problems. Nothing is perfect, and you cannot wait for it to be. I have used virtually every webinar software on the planet, and my official opinion is they all suck, okay? They're all bad. They all have problems, but that doesn't matter. I've still sold millions of dollars through webinars. There is no perfect software. So one thing a lot of people do is they'll get a software, and they'll run into one little teeny tiny problem. They'd be like, well, I can't use this software now because of this problem. I'm going to have to try something. And then they'll try that. Oh, well, now this problem, I can't use it. And they'll spend 6 months going through webinar softwares. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've done everything from putting a YouTube video on a ClickFunnels page to using EverWebinar to using Demio and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? They all have problems. I mean, yes, people will not be able to see EverWebinar sometimes because some glitch will happen, right? And I've literally had people message me saying, Dan, I can't get on your webinar. You're losing tons and tons of money. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, how much money have you made with online courses? Well, I'm getting started. Shush. Okay. So if you have issues with software, with your email marketing, if you just accept it, you're going to have problems. Okay. Nothing's perfect. Do not stop because there's a problem. Break through, kick the door down. Oh, the door's jammed. Okay. I guess I can't go. No, kick that sucker down. All right. Now, this is also very, 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 very important. Execution will always beat systems, but systems save time. What does that mean? So, as I said, no script or template will make you a millionaire, okay? The real secret here is that it's not the system, it's the execution, okay? So, in other words, if I give 100 people a script, and I say, hey, we're filming a movie, and we're auditioning for this lead role, Here's a script for the movie, right? 100 people have a script. They're all trying to get the part. How many people get the part? One. One person gets the part. Why? They all have the same script. Why did one person get it? Because they did it better. They executed that script better. They were better. And so what you must realize is a lot of what I'm going to teach you is execution. It's not just the system. It's how to be good at the system, how to execute and make it good. And that's what one problem I have with a lot of marketers is they don't teach you how to be good at stuff. They just teach you the system. You know, for instance, I do jiu-jitsu, right? And if somebody shows me a triangle choke and they go, oh, here's how to do a triangle choke, that does not mean I'm going to go out and start snapping triangle chokes on people. But if as time goes on, I'm trying to snap triangle chokes on people and my coach notices that I'm doing one teeny tiny thing wrong and he comes over and he says, hey, Dan, you know why people keep, getting out of this is because you're not locking your hand out enough, and so they're able to roll you up. And I'm like, oh, and they're like, so what you really got to do, and here's, grab here and what, and this little teeny tiny detail now will make my triangle choke so much better, So it wasn't the system that worked. It was the tiny little refinement of the system. And system saves time. Because if somebody just said, hey, you see that thing on UFC? Try to do that. Well, of course, it's going to take me forever to figure it out. So they show me a system. They show me the steps. But I still have to be good at the steps. Okay? So I will give you the systems. I will give you the scripts. But what's more important is that you're good at them, okay? And no marketers ever say that because they know that that will turn people off. But I'm not here just to sell you. I'm here to make you good at something and get you results. And so I'm being clear and upfront with you about that. Also, the upsell theory is for people that suck at selling front end. What does that mean? So there are a lot of marketers out there that say, hey, you need to sell a front end product, break even on it, and the real money is in your back end product, this higher ticket thing that you sell after. Now, in a way, that's true, but what that really means is, hey, I'm not that good at selling a front end. I can't be profitable on the front end, so I have to rely solely on my back end. That's what they're really saying, okay? And a lot of people will stop their business or they won't do anything until they have this whole back-end system set up. And that's just not true. It's just not a good way to think about it. I built a multi-million-dollar business with no upsells. I mean, I had a small one-click upsell after my course, but without a big, huge upsell. I now have upsells. I have a $30,000 personal coaching program now, but I didn't always have that. I was literally able to buy an 8,000 square foot mansion on the water a year and a half after I started this with no upsells. So don't tell me you can't be profitable selling one product with one webinar with no upsells. You can, because I've done it. You just have to be good at it, which goes back to this. See what I'm saying? Okay. So next, your product is your greatest marketing tool. What does that mean? It means that the best way to market something is to make it awesome, right? So if your course sucks, if people don't like it, if it's not that good, and you spend all your time, oh, let me get the webinar better, instead of going and addressing the issues in your program, you're going to fail. So you really should be putting the most importance on creating a great program, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do. I'm going to show you the systems for it. I'm going to show you how to execute on it. But you must have the mindset that your program is really the biggest thing that matters. All right? You must create a good program. If your webinar is and your program is fix the program first, then worry about the webinar is what I'm trying to say. Now, the next one, it's not your fault, but it kind of is. So one really popular trend in marketing is to tell your customers it's not their fault. Oh, it's not your fault. You know, it's not your fault that this is bad. No, come on, guys. It's your fault. It's your fault for not getting coaching all this time. It's your fault for not reading enough books. It's your fault for giving up too soon. It's your fault for buying one course that didn't work, and so you stopped buying programs, you stopped investing in your education. It's your fault, okay? So the reason I'm telling you this is so that you take responsibility. That's what happened to me. When I was 8, I wanted to do this business when I was like 18 years old. But I bought like a little $37 product. It sucked, so I gave up for years and years and years. Now I routinely spend. I've multiple times spent $25,000, $30,000 on masterminds, coaching. I've paid people $1,000 an hour to solve one problem for me. I've paid people thousands to train my sales team. I've invested in my education and my success. Okay, and why did I have an issue with that before? Because it was my fault. Because I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand that you got to invest and you got to level up, or you got to keep trying, or you got to read books, right? Like I read a lot of books now. I used to not read books. I read a lot of books now. You know, I read books like Made in America by Sam Wall. Like who wouldn't want to read a book by the man that built the biggest company in history, you know, who was a farmer? You know, I mean, like, this is what I'm saying is it is your fault, right? It is. It really is. Just like it was my fault. And so when you accept that, now you go, okay, I'm going to step it up instead of waiting for someone to do it for you. People can only be led. They cannot be saved, right? I can lead you in the direction of a successful online course, but I cannot save you, right? I can lead you to the promised land, but I can't save you. I can show you, I can help you, I can lead you to your end result. But if you whine and complain, or you give up early, or you don't want to invest in webinar software, or you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do that, there's nothing I can do for you. I cannot save you. You have to be willing to do the work. And so that's what I mean by it is your fault. Okay. So I'm just getting this out of the way. These are lies that marketers tell you to make you feel good so you buy their stuff. You already bought my stuff. Now I'm going to, you know, and I don't generally market like that anyway. I like to be clear, upfront, honest, because now I can really, once this is out in the open, all the cards are on the table, now I can teach you to be good at this. But if I have to maintain this stupid lie that it's not your fault and it's an easy, simple 1, 2, 3, it makes my job as a coach very difficult. So I'm being upfront and honest with you. Bottom line, this is hard. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I mean, it's way harder to probably be an oil tycoon, or to build a 8-figure real estate business, or to build a rocket. Way harder. But it's still pretty hard. But that's why you have sold out courses. That's why you're in this program, because it's hard. And I'm here to help you, and here to help you solve problems and get you good at it. All right. Next, let's talk about the secret of refinement. This is a huge secret. So if you are a nerd, you will know that there's an ongoing argument of why Batman always wins, why he always beats Superman, or really anybody. Why does Batman always win? He's the least powered superhero, right? He's a human. He's just rich, right? That's it. But how does he constantly beat all these other superheroes in the DC universe? If you're not a nerd, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But there's this ongoing argument about it. And the funny thing is, everybody's answer is always prep time. Prep time, okay? What that means is that the reason Batman wins is because he has time to prepare for the combat situation or prepare for the altercation. So Batman wins because of his flawless execution, because he plans, he prepares, and he executes. He doesn't just jump. He's not like Superman where he just like flies into town. He's like, let's go, right? He plans what's going to happen and he executes. Batman wins because of his flawless execution. Flawless execution is only possible with meticulous planning. Meticulous planning is only possible with acceptance that it takes that much focus to achieve such a high level of execution. All right? So, what does that have to do with courses? Refining your course is how you create a great course. Not because you know stuff, it's because you refine it. Refining your webinar is how you create a great webinar, not because you have a script. It's refining it. I will give you my fill-in-the-blank follow-up script for emails. I will give you my email sequence. But refining your follow-up sequence is why it'll be good. Understanding why you need to say this instead of that for your customer, that's what's going to make it good. I'll teach you my secrets to refinement. And by that, I mean my systemized process to refine things as fast as possible. But you still have to do the work and refine them, okay? Refinement is the true secret. I'll give you one quick example. And this is a issue that happened at scale for us. Probably not an issue you will come into contact with until you start selling hundreds of copies of your course. But what was happening for us, and this is actually currently on our thank you page of our 997 program. What was happening is people were filing disputes, giving us angry support tickets because they were not getting their username and password right away. And with our system, it takes about 15 minutes for it to be received. So once I recognized that, and also because we don't take support over Messenger, like in the beginning, I used to be able to respond to people over PM, no problem. But now I have thousands of customers, I can't do that. So I went and I added this. I said, wait, if your username and password has been emailed to you, or wait, your username and password has been emailed to you. If you did not receive it within 15 minutes, please email support@cked.com. We will help you get access. So right off the bat, I solved that issue, right? Oh, okay, I'll wait 15 minutes. Oh, I know who to contact. Boom. It's the first thing they see. And then we say, oh, also, we will be calling you at the phone number you submitted during your order. So we do welcome calls for our program, but we notice a lot of people don't answer the phone. So we say this, we say to verify your payment for your protection, and also make sure you have access to everything including the bonuses and group. You will need to answer. See, big bullet, you will need to answer. Otherwise, your account may be blocked until we verify your order. Again, this is to prevent fraud and also to say hi, okay? And then I say, if you submitted an invalid phone number, please email support@cked.com, and our welcome center will give you a call to verify. So why did I put this in here? Is this something I teach? I would teach normally. Is this something in a script? Is this something in a system? No, not really. It's a problem. It's a solution to a direct problem that I had. Right? And so part of refinement is coming up with solutions to problems that are unique to your situation. And so if you have a problem and it's not covered in the regular lessons of this course, I highly recommend you jump on the coaching calls and I'll help you work it out. Or whoever's doing that call that day will help you work it out. But the fact of the matter is that refining, and also refining as new problems come in, is part of how you create a great business. Okay, so just giving you one quick little example. So next, we're going to talk about how to deal with criticism and people hating you. This is a big deal for a lot of people. So I'm going to start this off with two quotes. One's by Albert Hubbard. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. What that means is if you can't handle criticism, the only way to avoid it is to literally do nothing with your life and just be a complete, utter waste of space. That's what that means. Look, if you say nothing, nobody can criticize you. If you do nothing, nobody can criticize you. And therefore, if you say nothing and do nothing, you will be nothing. So choose. Either accept the fact that you will be criticized or simply convert oxygen into carbon dioxide and nothing more. Make your choice. The next one is by Matthew Stevenson. You will never be criticized by someone doing more than you. You will be criticized by someone doing less. Let me read that one more time. You will never be criticized by somebody doing more than you. It will always be criticized by somebody doing less. So I'll give you a perfect example. I get this message one day. Now, if you remember earlier, I told you about my son being in the hospital for 2 weeks. This dude messages me on Facebook. I just happened to see it. I don't normally check my messenger, so don't send me a PM. But he says, "I wish your baby died in the hospital. Arrogance of rich people is unacceptable." This dude is so mad that I'm wealthy that he sent me a message that says, "I wish your baby died in the hospital." Now, I, of course, click on this dude's profile just so I have to see who he is, what he does for a living, right? Dan, do you think that when I clicked on his profile, he was an investment banker or a successful speaker or author? No. He was some douchebag that worked at McDonald's and just, like, you see what I'm saying? Warren Buffett is not going to send me a message and say, "Dan, you suck." It's not going to happen because he's too busy being awesome. All right? So you have to accept that if somebody criticizes you, it's because they're way less awesome than you. All right? And therefore, who cares what they say? I don't care what this guy says. Okay? This dude flips burgers for a living. He comes home and for 2 weeks, even if he quit his job, he's not going to get the smell of Mickey D's out of his hair because it seeps into your skin. I know because I used to work at Pizza Hut, and for 6 months after I quit, I smelled like freaking pizza, okay? It seeps into your skin. Do you think I care what this dude says? No, and you shouldn't either. Here's some more examples of comments. This is another one. Comments on your ads, right? Comments on your ads. Never look at comments on your ads. Look at this. This one, I had a picture in one of my ads of my son. This dude says, "If you can pimp your kids out," can't even put the E in there, or sorry, can't even put the O-U-R in there. I have to say "ya." If you can pimp ya kids out to improve conversion rates, then go ahead and knock yourself out. Literally spells yourself as Y-A-S-E-L-F. Yourself out. Smacks of desperation. Poor little chap hasn't a clue either. Am I really going to take anything that seriously from this guy that spells yourself as yourself? No, of course not. Okay. And of course, you delivered pizza in the snow while a wolf's pack was running after you, whatever that means. Another batshit millionaire that got to be a millionaire by selling the idea to others on how to be a millionaire. Of course, starting with sob story, wankers like this should be banned, but FB riddled with them. So think about this. You're going to have these people comment on your ads, right? These people can't even speak, okay? They can't even speak properly. Like, they're like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do not take what these people say and let it bother you, because it makes no sense to let it bother you. Okay? Because these people are again, no one is going to criticize you that's doing more than you. They're going to criticize you because they're doing less, and therefore they don't matter. Okay? Now, if it's a customer that says, you know, if nobody's buying your program and everybody's like, "Well, I think it's a scam because of this reason," well, then maybe you should pay attention to that and go, "Oh, maybe I need to adjust my webinar," or whatever. That's a completely different story. But if things are selling, everything's going great, and people are criticizing you and sending you bad messages, it doesn't matter. Okay? You have to accept the fact that they're going to criticize you because they're doing less. All right? So, what other people say doesn't matter, because if it did matter, they wouldn't have time to say it. Let me read that one more time. What other people say doesn't matter, because if it did matter, they would have no time to say it because they'd be too busy winning. Okay? I should have put a picture of Charlie Sheen in right now when I said that. But what I'm saying is they'd be too busy winning to say something. So, right? So it's a cosmic equation that you can't argue with. The easiest way... Let's talk about imposter syndrome for a second, because this kind of bleeds into this a little bit. If you have imposter syndrome, and if you have it, you know what it is. The easiest way to get over imposter syndrome is to build things that matter. And that's what I'm going to teach you in this program. So I can't do this because I have imposter syndrome. Well, the simple act of doing it is how you get over it. If you build something that matters, you won't have imposter syndrome, because you'll have built something that matters. You see what I'm saying? So begin. Let's build. Let me help you build, and you'll get over imposter syndrome. Next, credibility is all about perception. I'll give you an example. Do you know who the #1 selling, highest paid life coach in the world is? It's Tony Robbins. Okay? Now, most life coaches get crazy about certifications, right? There's these two certifications. If you Google life coaching certifications, you'll see there's all kinds of life coaching certifications. And life coaches will sit there and they will try to get certified by all these different companies so that they increase their credibility. Yet, the most famous life coach in the world, most highest paid, is Tony Robbins. And guess what? He has no certifications. None. Okay? They won't even certify him for whatever reason. All right? There's multiple other examples. Okay? There's movie directors that never went to film school. There's, if you're good at something, if you build something that matters, that's where your credibility is. If your students are getting results, that's where your credibility is. That's why we do beta. That's why we do the sold out courses system. That's what I'm going to teach you, is how to build something, not just to see if it, or to make sure it sells, but to make sure it's good. And therefore, being good and getting results is what gives you credibility. Now, just so I cover my buns here, if you are trying to teach a course on brain surgery and you never went to medical school, let me just edit that you probably should not do that. Okay, just throwing that out there, a little common sense. Okay, but I think you can, as a human being, can judge, when you need a certification, and that would generally be medical or being a lawyer. But besides that, if you teach how to work out, or if you teach how to sell on Amazon, you don't need to be. There are people that have great results for students, very top selling Amazon courses, who had a 6-figure Amazon store, not a multi 7-figure, not an 8-figure, but a simple. There's a guy that has a really top selling course on how to sell things on eBay. He only makes $500 a week from selling on eBay, but because people want that $500 a week, that's good enough for them, and he's able to teach them and get them results. That's all the credibility he needs. So you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be super stacked, you don't have to be famous. Credibility is about perception, and your only perception should be, do you get your students results? All right. Next, your reputation's not going to get ruined. Now, it could get ruined if you don't follow my system, because if you try to create something and say it's great before you've proven that it's great, before that you've made it great, well, then maybe your reputation can get ruined. But if you follow the steps in order in my program, that will not happen, because you will be, and I'll get more into detail on this. I show you how to sell a beta with a guarantee that'll blow people's minds, where, like, even if they didn't like your program, they still would not be mad at you. I'll get into that. But I promise you, if you follow the system, your reputation will not be ruined, because the process of following this system will make it so that you are very ethical and you create a great product, and there would be nothing to give people a reason to ruin your reputation. Of course, you must at all times stay ethical. If you try to scam people intentionally, well, then your reputation is going to get ruined. So don't do that, okay? But if you follow this system and you do the beta and you do all that, your reputation cannot get ruined. So next, let's talk about how to be massively productive, all right? So I'm going to go through a lot of concepts here, and I'm going to go through a lot of things, and some of them you may find difficult to swallow and accept, but if you want to be massively productive, you kind of have to. All right, so first let's talk about what I call the circle of focus. Now this is, again, another cosmic equation you can't argue with. So first, we start by drawing a circle and putting in a task or project we're working on. For instance, here's our circle. We're working on our online course. So right now, because our online course is in this circle, it's taking up 100% of our focus, right? We are 100% focused on our online course. But if we have a second business, like, oh, I want to do an online course, but I also want to start an ice cream truck. Boom. Guess what? You draw a line through the circle, and now 50% of your focus is on the online course and 50% is on the second business. You can't argue with that. A percentage is based on 0 to 100. Okay? There's not 101. There's not 200. All right? I don't care if you do every methamphetamine and coke and crack in the book. You stay awake all night. I don't care what you can rationalize, oh, I just won't sleep. I'll just eat caffeine. No, not going to happen. It's 100. Therefore, if you focus on two things, you will now not be having 100% focus on one thing. You'll be half-assing two things. I mean, that's just it. It's the equation, which means if you try to have a second business, a third business, and fourth business, you are now quarter-assing everything, 25% each. Not saying that these won't be to some degree successful, but they won't be as successful, they won't scale, they won't grow as fast as if you just were doing one thing. So let me give you something, a different example. Let's say you're trying to, you've got your automated webinar set up and you're trying to sell your course. So you're focusing on Facebook ads, just Facebook ads. Guess what? You now have 100% focus on Facebook ads, meaning you can figure it out, scale it, all your focus on Facebook ads. But if you want to do Facebook ads, YouTube ads, an Instagram organic page, and JV launches, now you are only giving 25% to Facebook ads, 25% focus to YouTube ads, 25% focus to your little Instagram profile, running around your office shooting dumb pictures, and 25% to this JV launch from this dude who's going to promise you that he'll bring in all these people and then 5 people show up to the webinar. So this right here is what happens when you try to mess with different traffic sources. Now, I'll give you an example of, because you might say, well, Dan, you run Facebook and YouTube ads. You're being contradictory. No, I'm not. I just haven't got to the next slide yet. Thank you. This right here is what happens when you have true focus. You see, I focused 100% on Facebook ads, and then I was able to hire a media buyer and let them run them for me. And so now Facebook ads takes up about 5% of my time because the other 95% is done by my media buyer. I just kind of like check in and whatnot. And so now YouTube ads are 95% of my focus, and that's why I'm trying different YouTube ads and doing different things, okay? Because basically once you can outsource something that you've already gave 100% focus to, or you can, outsource is probably not the best word, you can train somebody or bring somebody in or automate or whatever it is, delegate it. Now you can focus on the new thing. But if you didn't give that thing 100% focus in the beginning, you'll never be able to automate it or delegate it or outsource it. It's not going to happen. So what you want to do is you want to start with and you can, this is in your cheat sheet. You can just print out this circle of focus, or you can just draw a circle on a piece of paper. And what you want to do is you want to start looking at all the things you're doing and drawing lines on your circle. And if your circle ends up looking like this, then you have a massive focus problem. The less lines in your circle, the better. All right? So print that sheet out, start drawing lines, start writing what you're focusing on and eliminating things, and you will improve your focus. So now let's talk about environmental focus, okay? Talk about environmental focus. So a lot of people are aware that the 3 major markets in marketing are health, wealth, and relationships, okay? Health, or they usually call it health, wealth, and happiness. But this is also the 3 major areas of focus, okay? And when these 3 areas intersect, you have massive productivity, okay? You have massive productivity. If you're not healthy, then you're going to be focused on health problems. If your relationship is in disarray, or you have drama with your friends or whatever, you're going to be focused on that and not your business. If you are like, super have crazy money problems because you're going out and gambling and throwing your money away, then you're not going to be able to buy the tools you need for your business. You're not going to be able to get coaching, and therefore you're not going to be able to be productive. So if you can get your wealth, your relationships, and your health in order, you don't have drama in your relationships, you don't have major health problems, you don't have major wealth problems, you will be heightened productivity. Now, I understand, especially for, well, really all of these, there are unforeseen circumstances. Like if you get cancer and you have chemo treatment, there's nothing you can do about that. If you're if your son has some sort of major life event and there's drama, it's hard to deal with that. If the IRS sues you for $500,000, there's not a lot you can do about that. But for preventable things, right? Like if you're going out and spending money at the bar every night, you can prevent that. If you're eating cheeseburgers every day and you are eating or you're drinking too much and therefore you're hungover all the time, or you are not exercising and therefore you feel sluggish all day, that's your health. That's preventable. That's going to affect your focus. If you are hanging out with people and friends that have drama, dump them. Don't hang out with them anymore. Just get rid of them, and it'll take up less of your time. And then you get in this middle area, and now you're going to be productive. It's simple. It's harsh, but it's simple. All right, so let's start looking at some granular things you can do. So let me give you an example for me of an issue I had. So I noticed that I'm most productive in the early morning or late at night. Okay. During normal business hours, this part in the middle, I'm not as productive because there's a lot going on. I have since learned some productivity hacks to make myself productive in the middle, but I did notice that, I'm really productive at the beginning of the day and late at night, generally because people aren't bothering me as much during these times. And so I realized that I had to start getting up earlier. And it's funny because when I don't get up early, honestly, my whole day is kind of trashed. When I do get up early, I'm much more productive. So how do I solve getting up early? Because for a lot of you, there probably is an issue with getting up early. And so for that, I downloaded the Sleep Cycle app. And this actually came from a recommendation from one of the people who's in my elite personal coaching program. He told me about this a while ago, and I thought it was just absolutely, Andy Stickle told me about this app. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It's called the Sleep Cycle app. How it works is you download this app and you set it next to you while you're sleeping, okay? And what it does is it analyzes your breathing, and it knows when you are in a deep sleep or a light sleep. And so if you want to wake up at 7:30, you set it to 7:30, and it will analyze your breathing from 7 to 7:30, and it'll wait for you to get out of deep sleep, and then the alarm will go off. And what happens is, because you see what happens is when you're in a deep sleep and the alarm goes off, you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't want to get up. But if you're not in a deep sleep and you wake up, then you feel, I feel refreshed. I had so many times where randomly I'd wake up and I'd be like, I don't want to get out of bed. And then I'd wake up and be like, I feel great. And it's just because I happen to wake up, in or out of that deep sleep. And so what this app will do is it will actually, not only will it analyze where you are in your sleep so that it can wake you up at the appropriate moment so that you don't feel groggy and you'll get out of bed, but it'll also analyze when you're going to bed. And if you notice when I started using this, you'll notice here it says went to bed, right? And I never thought I went to bed that late until I see that I went to bed on 2 a.m. this day, 3 a.m. this day, 1 a.m. this day, and freaking almost 4 a.m. this day. And that's when I was like, oh, crap. And so you'll notice here the sharp decline. I went to bed at 11 p.m. on this day because I looked at my history and I'm like, no wonder. And so, it really helps you stay accountable with your sleep. Okay, so that's like my first tip is to download that Sleep Cycle app, use it, and get up early. So next, I want you to delete Facebook, Instagram, and all other social networks from your phone. Okay, I know you got a phone. I know you have a phone. I need you to delete Facebook, Instagram, and all the social networks from your phone. There is literally no reason whatsoever for you to be on Facebook or Instagram on your phone. It's just, there's zero reason. Okay, tell me a reason. There's no reason. It's just a distraction. You can set aside a time each day to go on Facebook and do whatever you got to do. But honestly, I think we all know, whether you want to admit it or not, that social media has destroyed productivity, destroyed family lives, destroyed everything, and it's addicting. It's like a drug. So you know how you deal with that? You don't have drugs in the house. So delete it from your phone, okay? Just delete it, okay? Delete it off your phone right now as you're watching this video. Delete. Delete the Messenger app. Delete all that. Just delete it. It will make you so much more productive, all right? This is actually what my phone looks like. I have only 4 apps on this phone. I have Voxer, and the only reason I have Voxer is because I have a coaching program where my personal coaching clients will ask questions on Voxer. So that's the only reason. Other than that, get rid of No Voxer, okay? I have my notes, and the reason I have my notes is because if I want to do a note, and I put the note in, and then when I'm at the office, it'll appear on my notes on the. This is, of course, if you have Macs, which I highly recommend for productivity. You have a Mac, but I'll have my iPhone, I'll have my Mac. I'll put it in my notes on my iPhone. It will then appear on my Mac at the office, and so that's just helpful for time. Then, of course, I have Google Maps, so I don't get lost. And then I have my Sleep Cycle app. Everything else, because there's a ton of apps that you can't delete. And as well, there's apps like, for instance, I have a credit monitoring app, right? And I don't need to check that every day, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Put them down here. Put them down here in a little, I don't know what that's called, but it's like a group thing. You'll notice here that there's 28,904 missed emails. That's my iCloud email. Most of that is me signing up for email lists to see what people are doing, and so that's what a lot of that. But basically, everything stays in there, right? So it's not on my home screen. It's a distraction. But if for some reason I needed to use it, it's there. Also, I have my Slack on here. Now I use Slack for all communication for my team. Okay, so any communication with my team, it must go through Slack. It's a team messaging app. However, I do turn off notifications on my phone for Slack, and I have notifications on my desktop. And the reason I do that is because if I'm always checking Slack on my phone, it's going to be a distraction, right? I'll check it on my desktop or laptop when I need to, but I do like to have it there in case I'm out and about and I do need to contact my team. I need to have it on my phone, but I turn off notifications, okay? So that's how I have my phone set up. Ideally, if you throw your phone in the woods, you'll be the most productive, but none of us are going to do that. So next, you're going to need to install the Newsfeed Eradicator Chrome plugin. Now, keep in mind that you don't have to do all this, but if you do this, it's going to make you more productive, all right? So install this, and what this is going to do is it's going to completely eliminate your feed, okay? And instead of a feed, it's going to just have a motivational quote. And so when you log into Facebook, because like, let's say you were like, I don't want to use Facebook at all. You're still going to need to log into Facebook to do ads, to do, your private group for your students, what have you. So you're going to need to log into Facebook. But what happens is you log into Facebook, then you see some political crap or whatever, and then you comment, and then your whole day's gone. So install this app, and it will, or this Chrome extension, and it will get rid of that. It'll remove all temptation. Next, you want to use logo-based shortcuts in your browser bar. There is so much time spent typing in things, right? So what you do is you simply go to a web page, you right-click on your browser bar, and you hit Add Page, and like right here, you'll see that I have all, like everything I need for my business here. I have Stripe, I have my calendar of Google Drive, my email, I have EverWebinar, ClickFunnels, I have all my ad accounts here, Zapier, UTM, notes, like anything I need. I have a collection of testimonial quotes or screenshots and stuff, my groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all here, so I just click on it and it goes right to it. Like I have my Vimeo, my email marketing softwares. I even have freaking Fiverr in case I need to hire somebody to do some little teeny tiny job. It's all right here. So that's a big productivity hack. Another thing is restrict all communication to Slack. Only do meetings when absolutely necessary. I'm not a fan of meetings because to me, you should only do a meeting if there's a reason for the meeting. And there's only a reason for the meeting is if for some reason that thing cannot be communicated over text. Otherwise, why are you meeting? There's no reason to meet. So everything is done in Slack. We even have a failed payments. We like hook up Zapier and whatnot, and we put it in a failed payment. So if we need to contact somebody for failed payments or what have you, it all goes here in our failed payments. But like literally every thing is categorized. Like on the left, we disputes, like elite. We discuss my coaching, Google ads. Like so, like my media buyer for Google ads. That's where this gets discussed. Then there's a collective media buyer one for them to discuss things together, and then there's ads, and then there's email, and then there's like, this is like my Earth class mail where I have mail forwarding. Like every category of possible communication is in Slack, and I restrict it to Slack because that's where it needs to happen. We do not have meetings unless for some weird reason we just can't do it in Slack. And even then we'll use a Loom to make like little screen share videos and show somebody something. And if for some reason that doesn't work, then we'll do a meeting. But I'm highly against meetings personally. Next, you want to use Team Drive and stick to it religiously. So if you have people that work for you or a team, you want to use Team Drive, right? You want to you want to separate things by folder. And one thing I tell my people is I say, if you're going to work on something, right, do not work on it in like Word or on your laptop and then put it in the Team Drive. Work on it from its infancy, create it in the Team Drive. Because I always use the analogy, what if you get hit by a bus, right? Like what if you're working on something super important and then boom, smack, you get hit by a bus. Now what? Now I don't have access to that. Okay. I mean, I'd be sorry that you got hit by a bus. I would, but let's face it, things happen. People go out of town, people's internet cuts out, whatever, a hurricane comes and people don't have internet for 2 weeks, and that's all sad stories, but you still need to run your business. You still need to have access to these things if you have somebody working on it, and therefore, if they are created in the Team Drive, you'll always have access. So that's a huge thing. Next, outlining your program and your emails and things like that in Trello is it's not required, but it's a great way to do it. I outline all my programs in Trello, and then there's a little power up you can use, which will post that card to Slack. And then because I have some, like when I do a new video for my course, I don't upload it myself. I have somebody else do that. So I kind of organize and outline everything in Trello. I find it very, very good. And it's a kind of like a planning app. If you haven't heard of Trello, I'm sure you've heard of Trello, but that's how I outline my programs a lot and keep them, kind of organized. And like I said, you can do the Slack power up where you hit send to channel, then you choose whatever channel it is, and then whoever you have doing that will upload it for you. Of course, if it's just you for right now, you would do it yourself, but I'm showing you productivity hacks for both solo and when you have a team. Next, you want to use LastPass for passwords and credit cards. LastPass is a app that keeps all your your passwords and whatnot. And so if you need to send like somebody your ClickFunnels password, right, you can LastPass to them. They can't see the password. They can only log in. And then if you want to revoke it, you revoke it, right? So all of our stuff for our whole company is saved in LastPass, and I LastPass this to my assistant or this or that, my video guy, whatever, and everything is taken care of in here. And that way you can remain private with your passwords and just give them the ability to log in. They can't actually see the password, so you can change it anytime. It's a really, really cool app. Also, next is use a mail forwarding service like Earth Class Mail. I use Earth Class Mail, and what that is when I have somebody mail something to me, they actually mail it to this company. The company will then scan it and upload it, and it looks like this, right? So, like all my mail is viewable in this app, and I can just read it digitally. Well, to be honest with you, my assistant reads it, and then she lets me know if anything's, needing my attention. But, you can actually read the mail right here. And then if it's something stupid, you just hit shred, they shred it. If for some reason you need that physically, you just hit send to, it's like, I forget what it is, forward to me or send to me or whatever, and they'll go ahead and mail it to your actual home. And this is so cool because I remember I spent so much time going through mail, and that was like, a good 20 minutes of my day every day. And 20 minutes is a lot. You know what I'm saying? If 5 days a week, right? 20 minutes times 5 is 100 minutes. Okay, that's 100 minutes. That's over an hour and a half, a week that could be spent being productive. And so, plus for a lot of people, it costs even more time, right? So I use Earth Class Mail. So all my mail gets sent to this, and then as well, if somebody sends me something that is super important, it's okay. I can get it forwarded, even packages. So this is what I use, and it's much easier to keep track. Plus, this takes up zero of my time now because again, I have a VA or an assistant log in, look at these, forward them to me, makes it super simple. Okay, you can't have a VA come to your house every day and check that would be a nightmare. So using a mail forwarding service is really awesome. Also, you'll want to install the YouTube hide recommendation Chrome plugin. So when you go to YouTube, and this is a Chrome thing that you use, you just want to turn everything off, and that way when you go, if you notice here in this screenshot, you have the video if you want to watch a video, but over on the right there are no video suggestions, so you don't get distracted and go to the next video and then end up in that weird part of YouTube where like there's some dude talking about the future because he's a time traveler and stuff. So as well, it gets rid of the comments, right? So you don't see some comment that offends you and then you feel the need to spend the next hour arguing with someone on YouTube instead of working on your business. So that's huge. Next is you want to install the Momentum Chrome plugin. So this is really cool because what happens is it gets rid of all those suggested things, and whenever you open a new tab, it will really only show you what you need to do today. So every time you open a tab every day, it says, hey Dan, what are you working on today? And so every time I open a tab in Chrome, it'll say, good afternoon Dan, today record sold out courses videos, right? So when I log into Chrome and I was thinking about maybe going on Amazon and shopping, this app is like, whoa, no, you got to record these videos. So, crap. Okay. So that's another big one. All right. So next, let's talk about lifestyle changes that promote productivity. So if you work out, or if you don't work out, you should, but you want to work out in the AM, first thing when you get up. And this is good because it eliminates stress going into the day. So if you're carrying stress with you, you're going to carry it into the day. You don't want that. It makes you less productive. So you want to eliminate that stress. So you work out, that eliminates it. It kind of gets it out. It also releases endorphins that promote energy, focus, and good decision making. Okay. So you work out first thing in the morning. It makes your day much more productive. Now for me personally, because my business has scaled to a point now where I can actually afford to do this, I actually hired somebody to literally come to my house every morning, wake me up, train me, and then I go to the office. So, I'm not saying you should do that because that can get quite expensive, but I do that because again, I've been productive, therefore I've built a great business, therefore I can afford that. You see how that works? So either way, when you get up in the morning, even if it's 15, 20 minutes, do some sort of workout, break a sweat, get a sweat going, then take a shower and work on your business. It will don't say to yourself, oh, well, that's 30 minutes or an hour or less I could be working on my business. Yes, true, but the quality of the time after that you work on your business will be higher quality. You'll get more done. Next, subscribe to a meal delivery service, right? So I use, I forget the name of it. I used to use one called Catered Fit, and then now I use a different one. But basically what they do is they make meals and they deliver them, fresh meals, and they deliver them to your doorstep and you consume them the next day. You just heat them up, right? And this is cool because you don't have to shop, you don't have to cook. It saves you massive time. And these companies, they don't like the prices of this. If you factor in what you would be spending on groceries, it actually ends up a lot of times being the same amount, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But essentially, you end up not spending too much more money. In some cases, you can spend less. And as well, you have like the exact same calories every single day. And so if you're looking to lose weight, it makes it massively easy to lose weight because you're not wondering what your meal is going to be. You're not eating bad. And this has really increased my productivity. Like I don't have to cook or shop, grocery shop. Like it's awesome. So see if you can find a meal delivery service, or if you're a baller, get a private chef. Next, cancel your TV service and stick with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Fire TV, etc. There's no reason for you to have TV, right? I understand if you're a football fan or whatever, but you can stream that stuff online or what have you. I mean, honestly, I haven't had TV in 7 years. And actually, I take that back. We recently got TV at the house simply because I wanted to watch The Walking Dead because I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. But then I realized that it was eating into my productivity. We canceled it and we stuck with Netflix. We now have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Fire TV. And Hulu Live allows me to watch. I believe it allows me to watch The Walking Dead. But here's the other thing, right? On Amazon, I can just buy the season and just wait one day and watch it. And if I go on Facebook and I have the Chrome extension in there, I won't see any spoilers. So it all works in this harmony, right? So really, I'm being honest. Canceling your TV service is great. Like, there's not what do you need that's not on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon? And let's be honest here, you can stream almost anything. It's all there and it's all on demand. I would cancel your TV service, honestly. And if you have kids and say, "Oh no, I need it for my kids," no, you don't. There's all kinds of kids stuff on Netflix. Are you kidding me? That's like half their catalog. You'll be fine. Next, give up email as soon as possible by hiring an assistant or a VA. I don't think I've looked at my email in 2 years. Like, I don't look at my email. That's such a waste of time. I used to have a VA do it. Now I have an assistant. She looks at my email because 90% of it is crap that you just don't need. Okay, you just don't need. You don't need to look at them because they're stupid emails. And so my assistant, she goes through, she deletes all the bad email. If there's something that needs my attention, she doesn't even forward me the email. She doesn't even ask me to look at it. She just says to me, "Hey Dan, so-and-so wanted to make an appointment with you," or "Hey Dan, this or that." And I say, "Oh, respond with this." Now, if you have a VA, you can restrict this to Slack. My assistant works in my office, like literally 5 feet from me, so she just says it to me, okay? But giving up email as soon as possible and training a VA to deal with it is going to make you way more productive, all right? And you can get a VA for $3 to $5 an hour if you hire out of the country, or $10 an hour, or even if you had a VA that literally checked your email once a day and you paid her $20 an hour, that's like $20 a day, all right? And you might say, it's $20 a day. Trust me, it's worth it, all right? It'll make you massively more productive, which means you can make more money. Next, put your phone on airplane mode during project hours. So if you're working on a project, put your phone on airplane mode. Now, if you're saying, well, what if my wife or my husband needs to get a hold of me? That's a strong point. And if that's the case, then you would have to, leave it off. But what I do is, if my wife is trying to get a hold of me and it's important, she will contact my assistant, and my assistant will say, "Hey, you need to get a hold of your wife right now." Okay. Because, or if it's a friend or something like that, like, I don't need to talk to my friends about, "Hey, did you see that episode of whatever?" Like, I'm working on my project. So if it's possible, put your phone on airplane mode. Next, and this I learned from, I attended a 8-figure mastermind. Everybody in the room was a millionaire, and the guy leading it was like a multi-millionaire, and we were talking about making better decisions, being more productive. And we spent like 2 hours talking about this. Diet, right? Believe it or not, if you cut gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol, and processed or canned foods out, it will heighten your mental focus, because there are elements in each one of these things that actually screw with your focus and your decision-making ability. Alcohol, for instance, obvious, right? If you're hungover, you can't make good decisions. You're not going to be productive. Sugar, if your insulin levels are bouncing up and down, and you're tired, again. And you can look up, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but you can look up why each one of these things affects mental focus. There's tons of studies on it. All I know is I was in a room with 30 millionaires, and they all agreed that to get to the next level, you don't eat this stuff. That was enough for me. I didn't need to look any of it up. Okay, I ended up doing it, and it's true. But you see what I'm saying? Like, when everybody in a room who is at multi-millions trying to get to tens of millions, and there's a few people in there that are at tens of millions, and they say, "Don't eat this stuff," I tend to listen. Okay, so I thought I would just relay that to you. Next, if you have the money, if you can, hire a housekeeper if possible. Again, if we're not shopping, okay, because we have a meal delivery service, massive productivity improvement. If we're not cleaning, again, massive productivity improvement. If you can hire a housekeeper, so like if you start making course sales and you're like, oh, I want to get this new car. Nope, hire a housekeeper. Then make more course sales because you're more productive. Then buy a new car. Okay? Next, cut loose of all ideas that aren't your online course business. Okay? If you have, oh, I want to start an ice cream truck, or, oh, I thought about this other business, remember your circle of focus. Get rid of it. Focus on this. Get this up and running. Okay? One idea at a time. Next, say no. Turn down useless meetings, JVs, podcast interviews. Look, if you're just getting started and you want to do a couple podcast interviews just to kind of like get your authority up, and I'll kind of cover that a bit in the audience building, that's fine. Do that. But once your webinar is converting and you have traffic running to it, there's really no reason to do that. I say no to unless it's like Joe Rogan, I'm not doing a podcast interview. Because what is it going to do? Get me 2 or 3 sales? That time spent scheduling it and getting on there, I could spend making an ad that'll get me hundreds of sales. Okay? I don't do JVs. And I used to tell people, oh, do a JV if it's a big name. Honestly, I did a couple JVs with big name people, and my automated ads crush. I should have spent more time with the ads. Honestly, it didn't really compete with just running ads. And again, you know my stance on meetings. Okay, next, once your course is proven and selling, stop doing promotions and focus on scale. So even though I don't really recommend this, I know a lot of you probably are going to try to come up with ideas and, oh, let's do an October sale and Oktoberfest sale. Let's do a Halloween sale. Let's do this sale. Let's do that sale. I came out with this. Listen, again, any extra money you make doing a promotion generally will be replaced by lack of money that you could have made if you just focused on scaling. So one of my secrets is I focus more on scale and making more money with my traffic than I do, and getting more people into my funnel than I do on doing a bunch of promotions and spending time doing that. So focusing on scale is another key. Also, write down what you'll be working on tomorrow and finish it. This is all that momentum app I showed you is great because when you come in the morning, you type that in, and then every time you open up a tab, it's like reminding you, like, finish this. Do not take calls or texts or be on social media while you are trying to complete that task. Shut down all tabs except the one you're working on. Stay focused. And trust me, I don't always stick to this advice because it's difficult. It's hard. And when I don't stick to it, I'm not productive. When I do stick to it, I am productive. Also, schedule times to deal with personal problems. Checking email if you still do email. Like, for instance, at the end of the day, for an hour, me and my assistant go over any personal problems I have. If there's a contractor or doctor's appointments, I mean, unless it's like super time critical, generally, like I'll leave the office at, I'll stop working at 6, from 6 to 6:30. We discuss that stuff, make decisions, and then I leave at like 6:30. Okay. So try to deal with that stuff. Try to schedule a time to deal with that stuff. Also, don't listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos while working. Multitasking is a lie, with the exception of music. If you're listening to music or something, that's fine. But if you're trying to listen to a podcast and consume, detailed information from somebody, you can't be focusing on what you're doing. So don't do that. Don't listen to podcasts while you're working. I know a lot of people do that. Don't do that. Also, never look at your ad or social media comments. If you remember, I showed you these earlier, these comments and these messages that I got from these people. Do not look at that stuff. It will make you super distracted. If you have a team or you want to be more organized, you can use Agora Pulse. Agora Pulse connects to your social media accounts and your groups and things like that, and it gives you notifications based on it connects it, and it gives you notifications based on what's happening, and you can mark it as dealt with. You can ban people, you can delete things, you can respond to comments, all from Agora Pulse. It's kind of expensive for what it does. I think if you don't have a lot of social to deal with, I think it's like $99 a month. But as you scale and you get a lot of comments on your ads, and you got a lot of people in your group, you may want to use this, because what's really cool is you can respond to people in your groups. You can respond to comments on your ads, or have a team member do it, all in this dashboard, and you're not on social media, so you don't get distracted and go off in social media land. right? I mean, look, everything you can do here. Look, ban button. You know, you can label users. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. So I highly recommend Agorapulse if you have the money. Okay, so that right there concludes the productivity training in this module. I look forward to seeing you in the next module.